What was Jeff's favorite angle his dad created from the Memphis days? Did you have a favorite angle that your dad did?
Oh God! See, this is when I wish, Conrad, I would have time to kind of think through all this.
Well, just off the cuff, like you have one that you always think, man, if that was on tonight, I'd watch it.
Andy Kaufman.
There you go.
I mean, and getting to do Tales of the Territory and hear Jimmy Hart and Lawler and Dutch that were all intricately involved, but just kind of the nature of it. The Bill Watts phone call that came afterwards. Obviously, to me, a lot of people, the David Letterman show and the stats that come out of that, and they used to call it the wrestling episode, and how it kind of put a rocket booster. People don't even believe that today. Yes, it was important to David Letterman's late night talk show in the early days and how early it was, but just kind of how that evolved and developed. I could talk about just kind of, to me, in a lot of ways, if we just had a little of that kind of stuff today, and I'm not saying, look, Kaufman's a unique talent, but that's up there with one of my favorites, the Lawler Dutch babyface angle.
Jeff, I almost think that, we do have stuff like that, but now because it's been done, it doesn't feel as special. Yeah. Like as big of a star, and boy, I know a lot of people who don't like him are going to get upset when I say this, but as big of a star as Andy Kaufman was back then, celebrity's a funny thing because he was a big star here in America and certainly where Taxi was syndicated, but it was just a different time as far as how people consumed, entertainment. Logan Paul is a much bigger star globally than Andy Kaufman was, and he is a regular active participant in WWE programming, but I don't know that ever would have been possible had someone not, for lack of a better word, paved the way. And the Andy Kaufman thing, because it was so new and so different and had never been done before, I think that's what makes it resonate more than everything that came after. But look at what Bad Bunny has done. I mean, Bad Bunny's probably the biggest star in the world right now, especially in music, besides Taylor Swift, maybe. But when you factor in world, yeah, maybe it is Bad Bunny. But yes, my goodness, the idea that none of that might have ever happened had one promoter not taken a chance one time, and it was your dad and Andy Kaufman. How cool is that?
And kind of how it all went out. I mean, fate, timing. Andy Kaufman was literally in Vince Sr.'s lap.
Yeah. And they said no, and your dad saw it. And your dad took the and I think this is something that I know your dad probably handed down to you, even though you never gave him credit for it, but or as far as I know. I mean, because you've said, my grandmother used to always say, but I always attribute this quote to you. Creative is subjective. So I think your dad knew, well, shit, I got to come up with 52 different main events every single week. So why not try one? If it don't work, we'll do something different next week. Yes. Right?
Yeah. And I can't tell you how many times this is the summer or two before I broke in, and then the first couple of years in those car rides when Mole Man would be kind of just riffing and throwing things out there, and I would never say it, but I would think, that is the dumbest stuff in the world. What the heck is he talking about? He's going to say this, this, and this, and this, and all this, and this doesn't make any sense. But what he was really doing was he had a vision, and he knew Lawler could tell the story, and it's what creative people do. They take something and put the ingredients together, and the next thing you know, wow, you got a creative angle here. He had that knack. But the Kaufman thing, you just kind of think of how the dominoes fell that and what it turned out to be, and just kind of rolling along through the years. So yeah. Man, Conrad, we've got one question. We could talk 15 minutes.